Every day that passes, we are continuing to see our justice system being eroded by the dictatorship. And under Owiny Dolo, he has sunk the judiciary so low that by the time he will leave the tenure of his office, we will have failed as a nation. I saw a memo online which was closing court because General Museveni was going to campaign. I don't know how true is it, but the judiciary has not come out to own it or to disown it. In that memo, it shows Assistant Registrar Masindi High Court, CC Resident Judge Masindi High Court. Subject: no court hearing on 10th December 2025. This is to inform you that there will be no court hearing on 10th December 2025 before Honorable Residence Judge and Assistant Registrar. Reason: the President will be holding a rally at Masindi Golf Course opposite Masindi High Court. Therefore, court will not be accessed. All cases that were scheduled on 10th December 2025 shall be adjourned to further dates. We regret all inconveniences caused. H.W. Nachitende Juliet, Assistant Registrar, Masindi High Court. So when I see that memo, where a different arm of government is stopping its work, where people who are supposed to access justice are stopping their work because someone is going to campaign in an area, it shows how the judiciary has sunken in the lowest. And I keep on telling people that General Museveni has been successful in eroding the three arms of government. Government has three arms: judiciary, executive, and parliament. They must work together but independently. Seeing a memo because someone is going to campaign and you stop the justice system which may be accessed by others is innate contempt of our constitution. Can the same be applied when Mbaraka Munyagwa, Bobby Wine, or others are going to campaign the same area? If it cannot happen, it shows you how the judiciary was put in the buttocks of the NRM. So the purpose of this video, I've come to show you the incompetence of our judiciary headed by Owiny Dolo, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please do subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagri. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. So our judiciary has always been struggling under this dictatorship, but under Owiny Dolo it has even sunk so low. It's so partisan and petty. The reason I'm saying this, he has failed to administer the judiciary very well. He has a history of abducting a file from his fellow justices when they are going to do a presidential petition. I think that yardstick made him one of the most incompetent chief justice. Uganda has a history of going in a civil war because of an election. Owiny Dolo was one of the judges who came out to refuse the opposition from inducing more evidence in the presidential electoral petition. If I was the judge based on our history, I would induce as more evidence from the opposition based on our history where Uganda has ever slid into a civil war because of handling of elections. Elections happens, a presidential election happens once in 5 years. What was the problem of allowing a new evidence? Okay, that was one of the signs of incompetence. Even when they were giving out their rallies, one of the the judges of the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court, came out to say that his judgment was stolen by Owiny Dolo. It looked ugly. People come to tell us that justice must be seen being done. What we saw was not justice being seen being done, where Chief Justice can fight his junior because of the position held. But when it comes about experience, I think he didn't feel safe having his juniors having a lot of experience than him. Owiny Dolo is the most incompetent chief justice in the whole world. Bring out that memo, if I go on my point, where a court is not going to work because a candidate is going to campaign in an area. It's something that is below our constitution. If the same thing cannot happen if other candidates are going to campaign, that's the problem. Most especially when we have a candidate like General Kaguta Museveni, whenever he's going to campaign, he calls the RDC to bring school children. He tells prisons to bring people on the rally. Then, if that things happens to the magistrate court in Masindi, it shows you that our judiciary is failing. And under Owiny Dollo, if indeed that memo is right, he has kept quiet. The judiciary hasn't come out to make a clarification. How can you tell me that if I'm looking for justice, the court is not going to sit because someone is campaigning? They are totally two different things. But because we're under dictatorship, everything is being devoured, and people helping the judiciary to be devoured is Owiny Dollo, one of the incompetent judges. It's the reasons why judges give out ridiculous rulings. Remember when Besigye was given a bail, man of worth, I think 40 million. Even when the charges he was facing came to fact that he's going to be incarcerated in prison, he wouldn't get that. Let me explain it more better. It's like when you are charged with a case, facing a case where if you are convicted, you must pay a fine of, let me say, 1 million shillings, and someone asks you to pay bail fees of 30 million shillings. Can you imagine? So that is our judiciary for you. So if the court can stop its work because someone is going to campaign in an area, what can they stop them from giving fake judgments? And last week I saw the judiciary preparing for a presidential petition, sitting in hotels, eating our taxpayers' money. And I laugh. Presidential petitions have always been one of the bad hearings in the country, and under Owiny Dollo sealed it with a nail in the coffin. I keep on telling people that democracy grows because the judiciary comes out to stand firm. For example, in Kenya came out with a ruling, okay, which threw the elections of 2017 out of the window. Because that ruling was made, even those in the state cannot come out to do the exact bad things that made the presidential elections to be cancelled. For example, in 2021, even after the brutality in election, the Chief Justice comes out to stop the opposition from inducing more evidence. If the Chief Justice came out and cancelled that election, it means that in 2026 we will be having a peaceful election without the army. Fearing what happened in 2021 where a presidential election was cancelled because of brutality. But whenever the brutality happens, and the judiciary comes out to confirm an election, it only confirms the violence in the future. Because rulings rulings are not mere rulings. Rulings must have an effect. Here in Makindi, to be specific, in Chibuli, there was a man who used to touch on young women's breasts and buttocks. When he was found, he was caned 100 canes. So the man stopped for fear of being caned in the future. So whenever we have a violent elections and the court comes out to confirm an election, it only confirms violence in the future. It's the reason I say Owiny Dollo, the 2021 Shabe election, he came out to confirm it with the circus which was around it of abducting the file of the former judge of his workmate, Justice Judicial, switching off power, telling the judge that he should address the media outside the judicial building. The man is intolerant, incompetent, that even our small courts in the villages are cancelling court's work without following the constitution. It is so unfortunate. Of course, that's my opinion. Remain yours truly, Mr. Makindi Kabye Suleiman Mawagal. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.